Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rundown with the Cowboy Crab. I'm a little late on but I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting a wild card game and a play-in game on the same day because I was trying to wait for all the play-in games to get through, so we'd have all the wild card matchups. They just had to have a wild card matchup and a play-in matchup at the same time. So, with that being said, though, this will still be the regular season debriefing and playoff preview, even though one wildcard game has already occurred. But anyway, let's start with the regular season debriefing. We'll start with the teams that didn't make it in the Western Conference. So we'll start at the bottom of the barrel. The season 35 Tank Bowl champions, the Dansville Ducks, 0-6. I didn't see any when I would occasionally when I would look at how they were performing. It didn't seem like there was much redeeming about them. And the 0-6 record was kind of earned right there. But moving on, though, you got the Barton Bruisers, also 0-6. Also, not a lot redeeming about them. They weren't exactly looking the greatest. And they did have, no, that was Houston. All right, we'll get to them later. But the Bruisers also did not look exactly the greatest in the world. Next, you got the Corinth Spartans, who at least got a win. But still, a 1-5 record. A win is better than no wins whatsoever, but it was not good whatsoever. Then you get the Utterette City Bucks. I'm still working on how to figure out how to pronounce their name. Formerly known as the Tremont Turks. Oh, the rebrand does not bring them the same success, unlike the Toronto Bears, formerly known as the Easton Eagles. It's not bringing them success. And so they go 1-5 after their rebrand. And then lastly, your first team to not make the playoffs from the Western Conference was the Houston Toros, 1-5. They were the closest based off seeding, and they get the 11th seed. But they did not get 2 wins. Their one and only win to make them the best of the 1-5 teams in the Western Conference based off the seedings. And then moving to the Eastern Conference, this is where it gets a little more interesting with some of these teams. Last, you got the Dredson Dragons, 1-5. By far the worst team in the Eastern Conference. The only team with 1 win in the Eastern Conference. And then you get the 2-4 teams like the Canton Greats, Miami Bulls, who in my opinion, they were looking pretty good for at least a wild card spot early on in the season. They were looking real strong in the Gulf Division where nearly every team in the Gulf Division made the playoffs or at least got close. And then you get the Pemberley Punishers, who they were kind of a back-and-forth team. Some points they looked good, some points they got their heads smashed in. Then you get the Roblox Panthers, 3-3 and just barely missed the playoffs. The only 3-3 team to just miss out on the playoffs. And if they were in the Western Conference, there'd be no doubt they were in the playoff seed. And yeah, so they were in the Western Conference, then it would have been no question if they were going to get in. But, yeah, it's kind of how it was for those teams that just miss out in the playoffs. Most of them didn't do good, and then some did not get in because of the tiebreakers and head-to-head stuff like the Roblox Panthers. Now, get the play-in teams that did not get past the play-in. So, let's just quickly find them. Maybe they're in... No. They have not updated score since week 5. Somebody should get on that. So I'm going to have to scroll through the network to find it. So, yeah, alright. So here's actually the playoff bracket. So when it came to the play-ins, the Milliken Rams in the Western Conference, no doubt about it, they won against the Mexico City Aztecs. And now they got to go up to Justin to play the number 1 seed, Justin Jackrabbits. Your other play-in matchup, the 8 seed Warriors and the 9 seed Rattlers, honestly a toss-up. Both teams 2-4, and the Warriors get the win. And for the 3rd time this season, we'll play the Oklahoma City Twisters. This time, they're coming to Oklahoma City. Then your other wildcard matchups, you got the Raiders and Sky Kings, which should be tonight. And then the only wildcard game that has been played so far is the Vikings and Sunbirds, where the Sunbirds shockingly got the win right there. I don't think most people were expecting them to win. But moving on, Eastern Conference, the the Newark Destroyers and Corblock Snowhawks. Honestly, all of the play-in games in the Eastern Conference were toss-ups. All of them were 3-3. But the Destroyers got the win, and now we got to go play the 1-seed Freedom. And the Huskies took on the Sentinels, and the Huskies will now have to go play the 2-seed DC Knights. Moving on, though, you have the 3-seeded Raptors taking on the 5-seed Bears. And that game's supposed to be tonight, but sources have told me that it might not be tonight. And then you got the wild card matchup that on paper is probably going to be the most exciting to watch. The Atlanta Phoenix and the Florida Firecats. The two with two fantastic quarterbacks, which I haven't mentioned much about the rest of them. But this is the one where it really stands out. It will be Finley versus Relly. Of course, there are other interesting matchups on there, but that is probably the one where most people know. But, however, for when it comes to predictions for who's going to make the Victory Bowl, let's see what I think. So, here's what I think. I am currently 2 for 2 on the Crab Curse from when we started the rundown to now. Will we go 3 for 3? Can we finally break the curse? That is a good question. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. I honestly think there are... that it is... Who do I think? I think it's probably going to be Philly. If it's not Philly, it's most likely DC. But if I had to give a definitive answer, I think Philly is probably going all the way this year to the Victory Bowl. And then out of the Western Conference, you have the 2 undefeated teams. You got the Jackrabbits and the Twisters. And that is, without a doubt in my mind, that is your conference championship matchup. But, I think... You know what? I'm going to go with... You know what? I'm trying to be unbiased here. And I think that's what I'm going to be. I think the Justin Jackrabbits will get a last-second win over the Oklahoma City Twisters at the conference championship, making this year's Victory Bowl 35 the Justin Jackrabbits and the Philadelphia Freedom. If both of these teams get first round eliminated again, I'm 3 for 3 on the Crab Curse. Somebody's got to mark that down, and I'm probably going to make it a T-shirt if it comes true again. Both these teams just get beat by the Rams. If the Jackrabbits get beat by the Rams and the Freedom get beat by the Destroyers. Yep. Will I go 3 for 3 on the Crab Curse? Who knows? If I do, you'll probably see me wear the shirt next week instead of the Twisters polo. But, yeah, I think that's it for this episode of The Rundown. We'll probably be back here for the Victory Bowl 35 preview, between whoever that will be. But, yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up here for you folks on this episode of The Rundown. Of course, being a little shorter since not as many teams are missing out on the playoffs because of the play-in and conference stuff. But, well, division and the conference stuff, you know what I mean. But I think that's where we're going to close it out here for you. Representing Team Ocean, I'm the Cowboy Crab, saying so long, everybody.